going on here. One, you want to see labeling. That's one thing. But are you against modifying food?
Let's look at labeling. This is called corporate personhood. They have every right to lie. It's California versus Central Pacific Railroad Company. The courts have ruled time and time again, since they have all the rights of actual people, they could also lie just like people. So they could put on the label GMO free and still be lying. Now, on top of that, it is GMO water now. Can't tell me difference because it all ends up in the toilet. And then you got to throw in a little chemtrail up here and airplane as well because it lasts 9 days before it enters the hydrological water cycle. All right, so let's look on how a GMO is actually made. Let's hear your statement. I'm not picking on you, man. I would like to build a free food forest in every state if you'd like to help me out.
At all? Which one?
I know this sounds radical, but yes, I am against genetically modifying our food.
Rachel, I have a problem with that. That may be causing or basically giving a death sentence to millions of people around the world that are not as fortunate.
Now, let's look at the things that we can see, touch, and go look at. One, are there apple orchards? Yes, there is. Apples can grow almost everywhere. A dwarf apple tree will make up to 130 to 260 or 130 to 240 pounds. There is an apple tree called Glorious Mundi that produces a 3.5 pound apple. Now, there's apples, there's pears, there's peaches, all these things that we can grow. But let's see on how a GMO is actually made. And let's just see if we can actually get connected here. Because this isn't just food. This is the building blocks for your children. The building blocks for your children. And this is what they're going to give you.
So there's really nothing new.
For no reason. Because there's apple trees everywhere.
It's really a radical revolution in food production. It's really a cell invasion technology. You know, people have heard they're taking a flounder gene and putting it in tomato so the tomato can last in cold temperatures. But people ask, how does that flounder gene get in that tomato? How does it get in there? And what really happens is the only way you can do it is to invade the cell of the tomato and deposit the flounder gene. But what's good at invading cells? Bacteria and viruses.
Now, let's look at what we just heard. We heard bacteria and viruses. And there is 116,000 man-made chemicals that enter the water supply, which unknown to what they do to each other, plus 51 known by the EPA and is not regulated, and they do not keep accurate records of who gets sick from water, because someone can go spray on some lettuce and be like, oh, the lettuce has got E. coli. What about the water? Because if you sprayed it and you had light hitting it, like artificial light, could trigger something. You think not? Well, let's go talk to the microwave expert. Gary Charler works for free. Call him up.
Change bacteriums and virus, genetically change them. What has been developed now is if bacterium, they can lay, and yeasts, they can lay in the soil.
I gotta say, yeast is now genetically modified as well for beer.
For hundreds of years in a dormant stage. And it's known by grave diggers or people who dig up old graves that It's possible when light comes on the bacterium to regenerate the bubonic plague that's been laying in the ground for several hundred years. It only wants that particular frequency and bang, it's active again. You don't need more than 2 brain cells to work out where you go from here. Viruses are neither dead nor alive. They inhabit hosts. If I put a virus inside a dormant bacteria that I know I can spring to life, I go to Norway on a holiday, or Denmark, or Sweden, I just spread the virus around the forests with the dormant bacteria, and I come back. And I can wait, if I like, 100 years, 200 years, or 2 hours. Makes no difference to me. And then all I have to do with HARP or a similar device is put the frequency, the microwave frequency, off the ionosphere down onto Norway whenever I feel like it. The virus will spring to life because their host has sprung to life. This is where we are. So countries can now, just by introducing bacteriums and viruses and whatever, they can totally devastate the economic possibilities of another country.
But doesn't that mean that we are in a new Cold War?
Okay, so now let's back on to how genetically modified
After
engineering is
12
done.
years of searching, Monsanto found a soil bacteria that is naturally immune to Roundup herbicide. Their goal was to genetically engineer DNA from these bacteria into various plants. They cut out a sequence of DNA that is resistant to Roundup. But if this DNA sequence alone is inserted into a corn plant, it will have no effect. So the next step involves E. coli bacteria. Gaps are created in the E. coli DNA, and when the 2 test tubes are mixed together, some of the E. coli DNA recombines with the Roundup-resistant bacteria. Then the technicians smuggle the engineered DNA into the cells of the corn plant they want to modify. Cells will naturally reject foreign DNA, so they developed a method using soil bacteria that causes tumors in plants.
What? And you're gonna feed that to babies. Okay.
They use this bacteria to ferry the engineered DNA into the plant's nucleus. There are also 2 other methods used to get the engineered DNA through the cell wall. One uses a stream of electricity to create tiny holes in the...
Speaking of electricity, I will find the one on body voltage, because you have volts running through you, like 15 of them. Even when you're underneath the power wire, if you ever get bored, go get a long fluorescent tube and hold it above the wire and watch it light up. You don't need to touch the wire, just hold it up above it and watch it light up. Yeah, we're electrical beings, by the way.
plant cells so they become vulnerable to infiltration by foreign DNA. Another is the gene gun, which blasts particles of gold coated with engineered DNA into the plant cells.
Oh, we have to pause for a second. I gotta show you Silent Guard. Silent Guard is actually on police vehicles and in some jails. It goes 1/64 inch into the skin. Now you remember now, I did say GMO water, and bacteria is neither dead or alive, and it is a laser beam. You could tailor-make that to a certain frequency. Refer to Dr. Hurley Clark's work, because she was killing them with certain frequencies. So technically, you could pick out the good ones and leave the bad ones. And she also stated that too. And she said that you could protect yourself with a choke inductor coil. But back on to how GMOs are made.
Each of these 3 methods needs a promoter gene that turns on the desired characteristics.
I'm sorry, I gotta stop it again. Yeah, knowledge, knowledge, knowledge. This just in. MIT has figured out a way to turn on and off with radio frequencies. Imagine that, kind of like GMO, kind of like, huh? And it also does talk about gold and all that fun stuff of nuclear acids and proteins and all types of fun stuff. Not to mention your GMO water in you too. Brilliant. All right. So back on with how the GMO
The
was
promoter
made.
gene is often extracted from the cauliflower mosaic virus.
This capacity of bacteria and viruses to invade mammals in different ways is what really has a lot of people edgy about biotechnology, because that's really what the tools are all about. In order to move genetic material from one organism to another that don't normally cross, you've got to sort of behave like bacteria and viruses and invade into the cells and become established, just like the virus must become established.
And they do one more thing. They attach to that an antibiotic marker system.
The antibiotic.
Great. So you can't take antibiotics. Awesome job, guys. Great deal. Way to go. Good idea with that cell phone too. Ooh, radio frequency, cell phone. Now you got a radio on it now too. Ooh, fun, fun, fun.
Antibiotic marker is a gene which is naturally resistant to a specific antibiotic. So later they can test whether the genetic cassette is being expressed.
The most cataclysmic force in the food system right now is the fact that the medical community is just terrified about the loss of antibiotics. No one really understands how using antibiotic marker genes.
Oh, I gotta stop. Okay, seeing that they did all this and they used E. coli, gotta say, is that the reason why cows have new, not before on this planet, E. coli N157 whatever? I could be wrong. Food Incorporated, check it out. But anyways, they got that. Now, did they get that from eating that genetically modified corn? Wasn't here on the planet before. Something was added, something different. Could be, possibly. I don't know. Well, let's take a peek again.
In genetic engineering techniques might contribute to the problem. The biomedical community on a worldwide basis is absolutely focused on this problem now.
You got rainforests that are still growing. Tons of food everywhere. And you're going to try telling the American people that there's starvation? No, no, no. You could plant trees there just as well as an apple orchard. There's an apple orchard here. You can put an apple orchard in Africa. Easy. 3 years they'll be producing food. You want to do it cheaper yet? You could do sweet potatoes. But then again, that actually takes down testosterone from males. Same thing with your graham crackers. They were designed to lower libido. All right. Now, remember when I talked about power? Well, let's take a look at power.
The voltage in my body.
I just want to get to the part where he's above the power.
When you're at pictures on concrete, on bare feet. I put on my rubber 0.006, so it's nearly 100 times more voltage. On the box, I'm standing almost directly underneath power lines, and my voltage is 0.6 as opposed to 0.006, so it's nearly.
Okay, 0.6. Okay, let's check out the bedroom, because this is the part that got me ticked off.
While I'm sleeping.
Because you think about babies and stuff. Babies are sleeping in there. You got heavy metals or whatever. Check this out.
In an electrical field such as this.
Yeah.
So again,
Let's get right to it.
15 volts.
15 volts. 15.20. You can test this. You can do it today. You can do the electrolyzing test as well. And I didn't get it in there too. It was in the last one though. But if you put current through that tap water, it'll turn green immediately. I think I got them all in there. Yeah, that one's in there. That one's in there. Well, I hope this is informative, and it's not meant to scare you, and I'm sorry I'm all woo, because it's just the fact that tap water is used in all products, every single one of them. I went through some of the GMO products, but not all of them. The ones that say non-GMO, use tap water. That is GMO. You need to remove it, or not. It doesn't make no difference. I'm going to be asking questions if there is an afterlife, I'll tell you that, because this is just ridiculous. 116,000 man-made chemicals, and we're going to serve it to our kids when there's no reason, no reason at all. Oh, but this will leach out minerals. Inorganic minerals. Plants, if you didn't have any factories here, no cars, no boats, that water would probably be pretty close to 0 parts per million. And then to tell a child that if you don't do this, people are gonna die? Come on, dude. That's what got me to even make this video a little bit. It's just like, where those people are, you could move them where food is. Or you could plant a garden there. Or how about this? We could plant a garden here in the United States, one in each state. Now, there's one guy that's in Wisconsin. He made 1 million pounds on 3 acres of land. Now, you could do the math, but it comes out to be 17 cents from everybody in America. If everybody gave in 17 cents, we could have one free food forest in every state. Okay, I'm done with my rant. I only do it because of the kids. It's just, this is just so mind-boggling. It's just like, are people really that, I mean, even I was that blind. Were we really that blind that we're going to give 116,000 chemicals, 51 known, to a baby, to a mother to have her baby grow in it? Is this thing on? I mean, isn't that nuts? Isn't that the definition of child abuse? That stuff turns green when you throw current through it. All right. I know what I've seen, and I know that you can do the same test anywhere. It's going to do the same thing. All right. Well, anyways, if you want to give me money, which I doubt it, you can go there. I know it's hard to see, but that's all right. You keep your money. I'll keep my knowledge, and I'll bring that over there to the other side if there is one. Because, man, this is just ridiculous. These are our brothers and sisters here, and we're going to go, oh, well, you know, my business, I got to make pancakes with tap water and not distilled water where there's 0 parts per million. But yeah, check that. Next time that there's an E. coli outbreak, someone go in there and get a water sample immediately from a hose that's standing nearby. Get one quick. Or even somehow get a little rain droplet off of the leaf so you don't get no cross-contamination, and test that water once. Because that's just brilliant. Don't keep an accurate record of water so people can spray it. Like all types of people. Like, oh, like you ever seen that sprayer that's in the supermarket? I bet you any money that's tap water. And those are CFLs. Those give off, I'm losing my train of thought here. Wi-Fi. You know what I mean. Anyways, I'm done. 18 minutes. Wow, it's a long one.